All right, we're here with the California Cold, Lee Jagger.
But we're going to warm things up. I just know it.
I feel like last time was like that. You said something, and I was like, "Whoa, that's a good start."
This is usually a pretty spicy conversation we have. So, yeah, things are going to get hot real soon. I'm going to be tearing off my
I
clothes in a minute.
know, geez, man. I've been doing a lot of spicy stuff lately. I had Maitland Ward on yesterday, who was a pretty huge porn star
Mhm.
and OnlyFans, and it got a little raunchy at the end, which was fun.
Oh, well, I'll keep the raunch down to a minimum, but it's going to be a spicy topic, I'm sure.
So I'm sure a lot of people have been helped by your membership and program, and I know this because I see it come through to me. so, so how has that gone? I know you've revamped it a little bit. Can you talk a little bit about that and kind of where this is
Yeah.
headed for your program?
Yeah, thank you. So for those listeners who don't know me, I've been on here twice before. Oh God,
Yes.
it's so fun. That's why I keep coming back on. But so for your listeners who don't know me, I'm Lee Jagger, who my company's Rock the Bedroom. And so I help women in the bedroom spice things up and relate to their guy in a different way. And I was doing that for a few years with individual courses. And I found that it was like my high-end course with all the coaching was really what moved the needle for women. And I'm here to help women. I don't want to just sell a whole bunch of courses. I actually want to help ladies because I used to be in their shoes and it's way better on this side. And so I want all the women in the world to feel so empowered in the bedroom, in their relationships. And so I thought, okay, how do I revamp my programs to have coaching for everybody? And so I decided to create a group coaching program, and it's a monthly membership. So for a dirt cheap price, they can come in, get like weekly coaching. And the community of women who are in the membership are just stellar. So to have not only my support, but the support of all the other women who are going through the same stuff as you are, um, behind them and encouraging them and giving their perspectives. Because I don't have the only, I mean, I'm an expert, but I don't have the only perspective out there that's helpful. So to have all the other women in your corner as well, oh my gosh, it's amazing. It's so good. So I launched that in December of 2022 and it's just going gangbusters. I've gotten, so the ladies who were in my high-end coaching, like all the techniques, the big program, they signed on for the membership and they're like, oh my God, this is even better than your big $5,000 program. And this is like under $100 a month. And so I feel really proud of it because of how accessible it is to everybody and all the women that I'm able to help and transform the relationship.
So I have a question. So, we've talked a decent amount of times now, and I wonder, like, how do you think women are women the same and their fears and ideas about the bedroom as they were when you started this? Do you feel like women, is there same issues going on, or is there like there a more progressive aspect to how women see themselves in the bedroom now?
Well, I think, I mean, I from the very beginning, I think it's been the same. My awareness of all the different problems out there has expanded. Um, but there's definitely patterns, like women all over the world. I have a woman in the Netherlands. I have lots of people in the UK, Canada, US, Australia, and all the ladies, they have the same problems. It's the same patterns. She's going through menopause, so she's got vaginal dryness, can't have intercourse anymore. It's painful. Um, Women dealing with guys with ED from in their 20s all the way up.
Oh my
That's not
gosh.
just an old man's thing because
Yikes.
ED can be brought on by lots of different factors: surgery, diabetes, medication,
Yeah.
stress level, lots of different things. Every guy, no matter how old he is subjected to some of those. And and other patterns are like just needing to spice things up. They've been in a relationship for a few years and things are getting a little bit ho hum, and they're not really they're like, okay, well, this is just what happens, right? Like hormones fluctuate, or you know there's the cliche of when you're getting married, like, oh, you better have sex with as many girls as you can, because sex is all of a sudden going to start going downhill. That's just expected. And so a lot of women have that concern and are living that reality, and that doesn't need to be the case. That's where I come in.
Yeah. Who perpetuated this idea that things have to go or going to go downhill for that? How did that come about?
Well, I think just lack of education. Like we don't talk about this stuff. We typically don't talk about it with our mom. Like, hey mom, so how have you kept things spicy with dad all these years? No, we don't have that conversation, right? So that's not a thing that's happening. And also your mom doesn't know either, because she didn't have much education either. So there's just all this ignorance going on, just unawareness. And we see it in movies, it's joked about all the time. And if someone is opening up, you confide in one of your girlfriends, they're like, oh yeah, we haven't touched each other in 5 years, we sleep in separate bedrooms or whatever. So just everyone's experience reinforces the normality of no sexual interaction, or loss of affection, or all those things. Anything intimate related just seems to be the norm, if you ask anyone around you, to go downhill. And there are very few people. It's only, Dr. Ruth, actually, God bless her soul, I love her. She was a pioneer in educating women and men around all things sexual. Nothing was off limits with her. So she kind of opened things up and got a lot of women and men to actually take a look at, so that's not normal. Or, oh, this thing that I'm feeling that I think is totally kinky, oh, that is normal. It's okay to feel that. And so she invited conversation, and she started us off. And it's getting better and better over the years, but it's still perpetuated just through I can't even say like it's been passed down through generations, because it just hasn't been talked about for generations. So the perpetual ignorance is just it's astounding. And so that's why, like, I go live Monday through Friday on TikTok to just answer questions for people, just trying to spread the education around that it's okay to talk about this stuff.
Okay. What are the questions? We got to know, what are some of the spicier questions? What are some things people are asking that you're like, wow, okay, we got to talk about this?
Well, one of the things is how do I tell my guy these fantasies that I have? Like, how do I introduce something new into the bedroom without hurting his feelings? Like, I tried once and he thought he wasn't good enough. And so how do I do that? That's a big one. Like, communication, that's the foundation of any relationship. And you try to introduce communication in the bedroom and everyone's tongue-tied. No one wants to step on their partner's toes or egos and hurt their feelings. And so often the communication, almost every question I get is related to communication. Oh, okay, so that's a conversation that needs to happen with your guy. Yeah. Men ask me, I get a lot of women followers, but there's, it's sex. So guys are inevitably drawn to the subject. And the guys come on and say, okay, so me and my wife, she keeps shutting me down. She won't let me get any action in the bedroom. How do I convince her to let me have my way, like, let me just touch, because guys just want to connect that way. That's the way they want to show their love, is by touching and connecting. And women, we think differently. So he doesn't understand why she's cutting him off. And so with men, that's always the question. how do I get my wife to like sex again?
Wow. That's
Yeah,
common. That's pretty common.
hugely.
Wow.
Almost every guy asks me that. Yeah,
Jeez, man.
because they don't. Well, the guy and this guy just signed up for. I don't really advertise my men's course, but I do have a men's course. I don't advertise it because men think that they've got to be better in bed. That's why she's
Mm.
shutting them down. That's not why she's shutting them down. It's that argument that you guys had in the kitchen that she hasn't let go of yet, that she's taken into the bedroom. So no, she's not giving him anything because she's still ticked off at him. So, and he doesn't know that. He's just like, oh, let's have sex and make it better. And she's like, no, we got to make it better or we're not having sex. So my course teaches men all the things they got to do outside of the bedroom, increasing communication, understanding where she's coming from, making sure she feels heard, she feels safe to say no, safe to ask for what she wants. And he took my course and I'm like, oh, wow, you're amazing that he signed up.
Yeah.
And I got the notification when I was live on TikTok. So I saw, I'm like, oh my God, Dale, you signed up. Awesome. Let me know how it goes.
Yeah.
And he comes on every single day that I go live to go, oh my God, it worked. Like they were sitting next to each other on the couch, watching TV or something. And he'd been implementing some of the things that I tell him to say or do in the course. And even though he's like, I don't think this is going to work, but he did it anyway. I said, trust me, just trust me. This is going to work, but do it. So he did. And he was only like less than a week in. And she's sitting next to him. And she texts him, let's have sex. It was so hard. They had not had sex for so long. And it was so hard for her to say those words that she had to text it to him. And then, fireworks ensued and it was wonderful. And it's been going great ever since. This was a couple of weeks ago, actually. And, but there's this disconnect. Like people just like, she wanted to have sex and she didn't even know how to say it. And she's sitting right next to him. So yeah, communication, people. We need more communication going on.
Yeah, and all things. Did she know that he got the course?
I don't think that she did. And I should check in with them because I did say at one point, I said, hey, like you're going to start acting different for
Right.
her.
That's what I'm thinking.
And she's going to think maybe you cheated on her or something. And now out of guilt or whatever, you're trying to make it up to her. So I encouraged him to say something like, hey, so I came across this lead Jagger chick and I actually did tell him on TikTok, I said, tell your woman I'm learning these things so that I can be a better man for you. I've yet to follow up with him to see if he actually said those words, but that would melt a woman's heart. Any guy listeners out there, say that to your woman. I want to be a better man for you. I want you to feel loved. I want you to feel cared for. I want you to feel like I'm listening to you. I want you to feel safe. And I'm trying to be a better man for you. So feel free to not hint for me what would do that for you. Tell me directly. It would make me feel wonderful, loved, cared for, listened to, admired. It would make me feel safe if you did this specifically. Like, ladies, don't hint at your guy. Give him direct. Yeah, he wants a step A, step B, step C, a roadmap, because he wants to get to your heart. But he's going about it sometimes in different ways than you want him to go about it. So tell him he wants to get it right. Let him know how to get it right.
Right. So funny. These feel like obvious, but it's not obvious to a lot of people, and I wonder, do you have a lot of single people who also tune into these live sessions and are their questions different than the married couples?
I get a lot more confidence questions from single ladies. Like, when we go out on a date, we're thinking, oh, I hope he likes me, or,
Mm.
things are progressing. We're going back to my place. I don't know. It's been so long since I had sex. I don't know. So the whole confidence thing comes up, especially with single ladies, but with women who've been in a relationship for a long time, they even have confidence issues because they're like, yeah, I actually don't even know how to touch a penis. Like I teach erotic massage. And so they're like, oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. I thought it was just what guys did to themselves to get off. But I never really considered doing that. So once they realize that's an option, then they don't feel confident with that. But the single ladies, big confidence issues,
Mm.
going out on dates. And, they want to be able to walk into a room on a first date and go, in her head, say the words, instead of, ooh, I hope he likes me, say instead, oh, you're gonna like me.
Hmm.
Like, buddy, you don't even know the jackpot you just won by getting a date with me. Like, to have that kind of confidence, a lot of women don't even know that they can have that much confidence. So confidence is a big thing for the single ladies. Yeah.
Funny, right? It's like maybe on the outside, you might think these are more technique issues about the act of sex, but it doesn't sound like it's mostly that. It sounds like it's everything
Oh,
but.
yeah. Like I can teach you over 69 different techniques just for his privates. But it's how you do it. It's how you show up when you're doing it. It's questions that you ask while you're doing it to open him up, to fine tune what you're doing to get it just right for him, and to open up communication in general in the bedroom. It's who you show up in the bed. Like if you show up all very hesitant and shy and you're trying to do these techniques, they're not going to feel that great, honestly. But if you show up like Beyonce strutting onto her stage and totally owning it, oh, things are going to feel way different. Like you automatically seem way more sexy for one thing when you show up confident. Plus, you're going to enjoy what you're doing more, and therefore you're going to be more sensual with it. It's going to be less robotic. You're going to be getting into it. You're going to be, being more playful with him, more creative. You'll be making up your own little techniques as you go. So, yeah, the techniques themselves they're a vehicle really to deliver connection to your
Yeah.
guy. It's not the techniques themselves. It's how you do it, how you show up when you do it, and all the conversation that happens because of you doing it. So yeah, there's so much more to
It's
it. And
very
people don't
interesting.
realize that when they first jump into my membership. They're like, yeah, okay, I want to spice a few things up. I want to surprise my guy. I mean, Valentine's Day is coming up. So there's like a special going on and everyone's getting the thing. And then they realize, oh, yeah, we don't talk about this stuff. No wonder things are going downhill. We've never talked about this stuff. So I mean, I tell people, yeah, I teach erotic massage, but what I really teach is all the other foundational stuff through the erotic massage. That makes the difference.
Right, right. No, it makes a lot of sense. And it's interesting. You had mentioned a couple times about how like and people were saying, "Oh, I just haven't done this in a long time. I haven't had sex in a long time." I mean, there's statistics on this that talk about this, but are you noticing that there's just a lot of people that just aren't having sex on a regular basis, actually, and they're
Yes.
struggling to try to get to that point?
Yes. Well, there's two sides of the coin there. There are a lot. The coin is, yeah, a lot of people are not having sex. One side of the coin is I'm not having sex because my libido's tanked. Like I don't have a libido. Maybe it's a hormone issue. It's usually hormone issues. If you're going through any kind of menopause, and some women, even pre-menopause, they have zero libido. That was me. Long time ago, I had no libido. Now I do have a libido, and I've since then gone through menopause. So it's largely up there.
Mm,
So I just don't feel like having sex. That's one group. The other group is I don't want to have sex. Like too much has gone on, too much water under the bridge. All those little niggling, unspoken dissatisfactions have amounted to a big pile of resentment, and now they're not even turned on to their guy anymore. And it's just like, I just despise you and I don't ever want to have sex with you. There's that going on. And I can help both people. I can help women connect with their guy, and I can help women totally change their libido, which is very surprising. When I first got into teaching this, I was just assuming everybody just wanted to know how to be better in bed.
Right.
I didn't know the huge libido predicament that most people are in. Most women, that's probably the number one question I get is, my libido is tanked. What do I do? Where like our relationship is going down the drain. I'd like to have a libido. I'd like to have some kind of sex drive kick in again. I'd like to want to have sex, because not having sex is taking a toll on our relationship. And really, it's largely up here, up in the brain. Like, there's two different things. You can be in the mood to have sex, or you can get in the mood. And getting in the mood is not everybody's in the mood when the situation presents
Right.
itself. Okay, the kids went to sleep. All right, let's get it on. And one or more person is going, okay, I'm not feeling it. I'm kind of tired, and it was a long day, and I'm just not into it. But what I found, and there's a lot of, books and TED Talks about this too, that a lot of women don't know, is that when you start taking action, like if you start making out or start massaging each other or touching or just connecting in some very present way, you're not on your phones, like you're being present with each other, then that will get you in the mood, no matter how tired you are. Like when you think about it, if you're going to Bora Bora and your plane leaves at 3 a.m., you got to get up in the middle of the night, you've had 2 hours of sleep and you got to get up. You'd think you'd be tired, but no, you're going to Bora Bora. So you're super excited. So yeah, you jump out of bed and oh yeah, let's go. We're going to Bora Bora. We're getting on that plane. And you got all the energy in the world because you like what's about to happen and you're excited about that. So when you can, implement some erotic massage techniques to get something new to get excited about in the bedroom, then the whole, oh yeah, we're both just tired at the end of the day, that's BS. That's just an excuse.
Right.
I teach women how to not be tired at the end of the day because they're just so excited. Like, whoo, that thing I did on him yesterday, I got something new to do on him tonight. I'm going to blow him away, So that will get you in the mood, even if you're not already in the mood. Taking the action makes that libido kick in.
And do you get that from people, they say, or women, they say, well, I'm just tired all the time. Like, did they tell you that? And they're like, they want to make that the excuse. Like, I'm sorry, Lee, this is what happens.
That's the number one excuse. I got kids, I'm working a job. He comes home late at night. We're on different schedules. So I'm always tired. And I'm like, you know what? You can use that if you like. And it seems like a valid excuse. I get it. I buy it. But that does not need to be an excuse at all. It's because it's ho-hum, and nobody's excited about ho-hum. Get excited about something and you won't be tired. You won't.
I like the Bora Bora.
Bora Bora.
Like, oh, yeah.
I mean, that's
like anytime you go on vacation and you're really excited about it and you got to get up early, you're like, this sucks. I don't want to do this, but I am going somewhere pretty awesome. I'm pretty juiced about it. It's like, it's interesting to think about it that way.
Yeah, because we've all experienced that.
Yes.
I've gone on a road trip where, cars packed the night before. Okay, let's get up at 5 a.m., beat the traffic through LA, going to Big Sur or whatever. And yeah, I am wide awake at 5 a.m. I am ready to go. Woohoo, the tunes are blasting and we're on our way. Yeah, whereas, you take a typical, like this morning at 5 a.m., if I had to get up,
Yeah.
No, that would have been hard. That would have been like, oh no, it's not worth it. I just want to go to sleep. Why would I want to get up just to have breakfast and, start my same old day? We've all experienced that. We've all
Yeah.
experienced
You know what's interesting too? I think, oh my gosh, I was watching this movie. It was a long time ago, and it was like a comedy. And it was about basically like the guy was getting home. He wanted to have sex. And he was like, I got to get there at a certain time because if I don't get there before 6, she's going to put those sweatpants on and I'm going to go into sweatpants purgatory. And it was this kind of whole thing of like also how people stop trying to be sexy to each other
it.
as well. And
Yes.
they start going, well, I just want to be comfortable. Like, I just want to wear something comfortable. I don't want to, like, what am I doing this for? Why am I trying to be sexy? Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think a lot of people probably actually experience that too. Like when two people stop trying to be exciting to each other, you know?
Yes. And also, I love that you brought this up because it also brings in the element of being like dressing up for yourself.
Yeah.
Like I get the whole, I want to be comfortable. One of my clients, Ava, no, Ina, sorry, Ina, Ava's in Netherlands. So Ina said, yeah, like my husband, I just felt I wasn't attractive to him anymore.
Mm.
And through some conversation that I encouraged them to do, it came out that he said, yeah, you just don't try. Like, your hair is all like she's home with the kids all day.
Yeah.
So your hair is all, you don't do anything with your hair anymore. You never wear makeup. You're in sweatpants and all the things. And so at first she kind of dug her heels in, like, who are you to tell me why am I getting dressed up? I'm at home with the kids all day. She decided, okay, for herself, she put on some makeup, she did her hair, she wore some nice clothes, and she found that her mood was lightened. Like she actually felt better. She wasn't all, in a slump. And she started wearing this red lipstick, which he loved. Got a really good response when he came home that night. And she just decided, you know what? It felt good for me to dress up for me. So I'm going to keep doing it for me because I felt good. I felt sexy. Like when us women, we buy really nice lingerie, you can't see it. Nobody can see it, but we know we're wearing
Yeah.
it, And so we're doing it for us. We don't wear lingerie for you guys. We wear it for us. We look in the mirror, we're like, oh,
Look at
oh,
me.
here we
Look at
go.
me.
It turns us on. And so she said, yeah, I decided my red lipstick, that's my signature. Every day I'm wearing red lipstick and it makes me feel sexy. It makes me feel hot, makes me feel young. And they are on fire. Her and her husband are totally connecting all the time. And that leaks out from the bedroom into the rest of the relationship. So they're, playful in the living room. They're
Yes.
making jokes in the kitchen. They're just lighter. So it's really, really important for people to still like keep dating each other, keep winning each other. When you are trying in your relationship, then your relationship is not dying. You're
Yes.
either trying or it is dying. Period. There is no middle ground. There is no standstill. You're either like making it awesome or you're making it lousy. There is no staticness to relationships.
It sounds like your next book, Lee. You're either trying or it's dying. Like,
Yeah, maybe
sex in
that's
your life. You're trying or it's dying.
yeah. It's I remember Ashton Kutcher said in an interview, keep it new or it's through. And I'm like, that's absolutely right. Keep it new or it's through. So yeah, you
Yeah.
got to keep trying with your partner because it also lets your partner know you still matter to me.
Mm.
I'm still choosing you today. I'm still trying to just present my best self for you today. I want to show up as the best partner for you today. And it lets your partner know you're not taking advantage of them. Like, oh yeah, whatever. He's going to be here tomorrow. So I don't,
Yeah, you'll be around. Don't worry about it.
yeah. So it just feels like we're being taken for granted when our partner doesn't
Yeah.
make a bit of an effort. So I
And
think it's important. But it also, it seems like we're doing it for our partner, but really, like now that I go live almost every day on TikTok, I put on some makeup. My thing is, when I'm on stage, I got lipstick on. So as soon as that lipstick goes on, it's like, ooh, Lee Jagger comes out. Like Pitbull puts on his sunglasses.
yeah,
That's his costume on stage.
right.
He does not go on that stage without his glasses on. That's his costume. And all of a sudden it brings out that, like Beyonce says, Sasha Fierce.
Yeah.
It's this persona. So when you make an effort, it brings out this bigger part of you. Like you're worth taking that extra 10, 15 minutes in the morning to present yourself to the world as this va-va-voom
Yeah.
person,
How do you think women views the male aspect of that? Let's say the aesthetic part, the trying or the clothing and stuff. Because I think that feels like a very thing, something like a guy puts towards a woman, like, hey, why don't you do this? But what about from the other perspective? How does women see that in her guy?
I would say that it goes both ways, but not quite to this extent that it goes
Right.
towards
That's what I'm
women, because
curious about. Yeah.
women are used to, I mean, guys are used to seeing women with makeup on and, doing the fancy hair, and we got the earrings on and all the things. Guys don't typically get themselves, I mean, it's interesting. In the animal world, it's the men who has
Exactly.
to, they're the colorful ones. I saw some ducks yesterday, and there's the male duck and the female duck, and the male duck has got all the colors. He's got to win the female. Whereas humans, we are the only animal species who don't do that. It's the women who have to beautify ourselves, and we're looking all homely if we don't wear makeup. And you guys never do. You guys look fine without makeup. And so, I mean, we want you to try a bit. We don't want to see old gray sweatpants every single day, and comb your hair and have a shower. Definitely hygiene is a big thing for
Hygiene.
women.
Okay.
Hygiene's big. Like, you have a shower every day. If you went to work and then you went to the gym, have a shower, please. Either before you get home or when you get home, please have a shower. If you want sexy time, smell good. Smell good. Otherwise, like, we're not going down there. If it don't smell good, no, we're not going down there. No.
You did a hard workout for 45 minutes. It's like, you better don't come here without a shower.
Yeah, I mean, we like your smell. We love your smell. It's okay to be sweaty, but don't be smelly. There's a difference. So there's have you ever noticed that, where some people smell different?
Of
Some
course.
people smell sour, or just like
Yeah. Yeah.
you go to hug them and you're like, ooh,
Yeah. Yeah.
and other people, you can definitely smell them. They smell, but they smell good. Like chocolate chip cookies or something, like they
Oh.
smell good. So it's not about getting rid of your odor. It's about just freshen up the armpits or the privates or whatever. If you've, and usually those areas, those are apocrine glands, and they are activated. They're different sweat glands than the rest of the body. And those are activated in times of stress. So if you're putting your body through a workout, that is a form of stress. And so there's different sweat glands that are activated in your armpits and in your privates in those instances. So that's why you're like, ooh, yeah, you're ripe, honey. Like, go have a shower. Normally she loves how you smell, but during stressful times, we're always stressed at work, we're always stressed in a workout, like physically stressed. So those come into play. So hygiene, oh yeah, that's really important. And for the
Hygiene.
women too, like, if a guy is going down on a woman, I mean, he wants some
Hygiene.
kind of smell down there, because there's something about that he's associated with sexy time, so that smells okay, but it can't be too raunchy. Like, you got
Yeah.
women have a little bit of a wash up before. Yeah, because we want them to take his time down there,
Yeah. Right.
So,
Here's something
make it a
interesting.
bit of,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
a
don't
nice
think we've talked
environment.
about this before, actually.
We
What
did
about when
not.
two people come together and let's say they're in their 20s, right? Disclaimer, this is not me. I'm not asking any of this for myself, by the way. I just thought, I don't want people thinking like, Dr. D, what's going on here? Like,
Yeah,
no,
asking for a friend.
you know, but it's interesting. I think when people, especially when someone's in a long-term relationship, and let's say those two people look a certain way when they get together, this physical attraction, and then 20 years later, they look like they were put in the witness protection program, and they don't look anything like their 20-something-year-old selves. Talk about how people navigate that attraction and the sexuality between that. Because I've known a lot of people like that who are like, I see them 20 years later, I'm like, whoa, this ain't Baywatch anymore. Like,
Right.
you know,
Yeah, I think so how you maintain that attraction for your partner, it goes beyond looks. It goes beyond looks. Thank God.
correct.
Because
Right.
not
Young
everybody
people
ages
need to hear
well.
this. A lot of young people need to hear this because it's this very like superficial thing, especially when you're young, you know?
Yes, like there's chemistry.
Of course.
Chemistry is important, sure. But don't just go for looks. Like you can have chemistry with someone who doesn't even look like your type. But there's just something like you're attracted to them, you don't even know why, or you get along so well, they're funny, like you just have a great time with that person. That is a good connection. Whereas someone who you're like, oh God, if she would just shut up. I mean, she looks great, but oh my God, like, no, do not marry that person. Don't go for looks alone. You've got to really connect with your personality's got to match. You've got to have common interests that you can share together. Like marriages that last happily. There's a lot of marriages that last, but everyone's miserable. But if you want to be happy, those are the marriages where you found common ground. You have common interests, common activities that you do. You're just, there's a playful banter. You get along with that person. You can talk to that person. You trust that person. You make that person feel safe. Like you're a partner, you're a team. If they're just, hot in bed, that's not good enough criteria because everyone's looks will fail them eventually. Paul Newman's wife said one time, like looks fade, marry someone who'll make you laugh. And Paul made me laugh. Like we had a great time. And so that was just a nice validation of something that I already knew and suspected. But you just, I mean, when we're young, we're just going after the hot person.
That's right.
And we don't realize that, okay, if that ends up going to, you want to keep that person because they're hot and you don't think you're going to get anything better than that. Well, it's going to be a really unhappy marriage.
Yeah.
If there's not substance behind it. You got to connect in more ways than the bedroom.
Yeah.
Let's just say.
And if you just look at it statistically, the majority of people don't take care of themselves throughout time anyways. So it's not like you're banking on you're getting this one in a whatever person who's like just going to be fit their whole lives, this debonair, whatever. Like most of that's not going to happen for a lot of people for that. It's just not.
No.
So it has to be deeper than,
Has to.
the aesthetics
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah. And that's my challenge as an educator, where, women are in their 50s or 60s and coming to me and going, okay, we've been married for 30 years. It's getting a little like, oh my God, like, I don't want to leave him, I don't want to tear the family apart, whatever. Like, how do we make this better? And we've drifted for so long. I mean, I love him, but I'm not really in love with him anymore. So that's my challenge as an educator, to find out, okay, at that stage in your relationship, how to get that spark back is through respect, through honoring that person's preferences, not making them wrong for wanting or thinking the way that they do. Having a lot of communication and making it okay for that other person to be different than you and to just honor them wherever they're at. That's the foundation of what I do with couples who've been together for a long time. Although that's a great foundation to start out anytime, even that's why the single ladies actually enjoy my program as well, because they're starting off on this good foot, this strong foundation of, okay, let's not let things build up. Let's really deal with things as they come up and find out just how compatible are we? Can we work through these things? Because if one person's willing to work through things and the other person is not, man or woman, that's going to be a hard relationship to navigate. So yeah, it comes down to a lot of curiosity, I think, as a person in a relationship, instead of, why did you do that? Or why is it that you think that way? And it's sort of made to be wrong. But if you could just be curious and so I'm curious, why do you see that from your point of view? I see it from a different point of view. So I'm just trying to understand how it is that you think about that, because that's foreign to me. Then there's nobody's on the defense. Then it's just a conversation and you allow the other person to be different than you. And your partner, they're not going to be the same as you. And they're not, you're never going to agree on everything. So people kind of forget that. They make their partner wrong for saying or doing things that they don't think should be said or done.
Most definitely. And you talked about, let's say people in their 50s, but the younger people, do they come to you with different things than maybe someone, obviously if someone's been married a long time, but is there a crossover, like you said, the confidence thing, or the younger people dealing with different challenges because of the social media element and the swiping element and the difficulties in connecting with someone?
Well, there are differences in that when you've been with someone for a long time, you know them inside and out. So the whole chemistry thing, the whole hotness thing, that just doesn't even come into play so much with older couples who've been together for a while. The younger people, they're just trying to keep it hot. Older people, they just want to get along. Can we just get along?
Can we just get along?
We just want to get along. I just want to be happy when I come home. I don't want to get in another fight. I just want to be content at home, whereas the younger, they're like, oh yeah, okay, so how do we get it on? How do I make sparks fly in the bedroom? The older couples, they end up making the sparks fly, which is why women go wild for my stuff, is because they're getting an element that they didn't expect. They didn't expect to feel that butterfly thing again. They didn't expect for their libido to go up. They just wanted to get along. Now, the younger crowd, yeah, they just want to keep it hot. And so you're I'm teaching the same thing to both crowds.
Yeah.
But yeah, the younger ones, they want to keep it hot. Or if they're single, they want to be confident and feel safe. Meeting a guy for the first time these days, oh man, it's hard for women these days, because one of my clients, Carrie, she goes to the same place every time she goes on a date, because the staff all knows her. If she's in a bit of a pickle and she needs to get away from this guy because things aren't going so well and she doesn't feel safe to say that, she will be able to hang out with someone in the staff, or someone from the staff will walk her to her car, make sure that she's in her car safe to drive away before the guy leaves or whatever. It's hard as a woman to date these days because we don't always feel safe. And so how to for a woman to feel safe and to feel in control and powerful and confident, I think that's the best armor you could give a woman. The best tools to just be really sure of herself. Because for one thing, you're not attracting any kind of guy who would make you feel unsafe if you're showing up as a super confident woman. A guy who might treat you not very well is going to run for the hills if they see a confident woman show up, because he knows he's going to get his ass kicked if he tries anything. Like there's no way if I dated a guy that he would be someone who, didn't treat women very well. Guys would just innately sense that, like an animal, like, oh yeah, no, I'm not going to mess with her because I can't get away with what I usually get away with. So for a woman to show up super confident, they don't have to deal with that whole safety issue because they're not even attracting that kind of man. And they're like, there was a study done where they asked guys in prison. So like they showed video clips of different women and men, but mostly women, walking down a street and picking out, okay, who would you choose to attack? Who would you choose to mug? Who would you choose to, take into an alley or rape or whatever? And they always chose the person who had their head down, who just physically presented as not confident. Whereas the person who walked with their head up and their shoulders back and they're purposeful, they looked powerful, they looked confident. None of the inmates chose those people.
Interesting.
None of them. Because you just inherently know, oh yeah, that's risky. I can't get away with that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, I don't mean to paint the picture that all men are out to accost women. I mean, that's such a minority. I love men for the most part, for almost the whole part. Men are wonderful and they just want to connect. But women, we've seen movies, we see the news. We're thinking that the majority of men, you got to be cautious around. And that's so inaccurate, but it is out there. And that's the idea that a lot of women have in their head because they have been beat up or they have been mistreated. Yeah. And so that's all they know. So those are the women who really need the help in the confidence department.
Yeah. And always good stuff. Lee, always extremely relevant, timely, and just quality information. Thank you always for coming on and spreading this information. It's good stuff.
You are so welcome. I always love coming on here and exploring new facets of this conversation.
It's never ending. It's never ending. There's always something. But for people who this is the first time you're being introduced to Lee, definitely let them know how they can start rocking their bedroom. Yeah.
Yeah. So they can go to rockthebedroom.com. And there's one free erotic massage technique there that they can partake in. If they're interested in checking out the membership, I will give them 10% off using your coupon code Darian10, Darian10. And they get 10% off their first month of the membership. So they can try it out and see what they think.
Yeah, it's definitely in the show notes. And I've definitely seen some of you guys buy it and stuff. And so it's awesome. And Lee's awesome. Thank you, Lee, for all that you're doing and for being a wonderful, positive influence in my life and my wife's life. So it's wonderful.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. I live to help people rock it because I think this is the key to world peace. You take I'm telling you,
come on, people. Not enough people having sex. Everybody's worked up here.
Right? If everyone's really happy at home, the wars would end. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. At least I think it's worth a try.
I mean, it sounds plausible as you think, like all these really negative, angry people, they're probably not doing anything.
No, they're not having a great relationship at home. Yeah. I'm sure of it. I would bet money on that.
Me too, actually. I'm sure nothing good's happening there.
I mean, if when you think about it, if you are feeling so loved up and you're being treated like a king at home, you're happy at work.
Right.
You tap your brake and let that guy in front of you in traffic. Like you're just lighter, you're just happier. And I think the world could use a little bit more of that.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like in any like movie or anything. If you know when somebody's had sex or that they're satisfied, it's like they
They're
have a feeling.
glowing.
There's a glow about. It's like, oh yeah, you're happier. You must be like, feeling good at about this. It's like
Yes.
a lot of people are not feeling that though. I'm telling you, it's just,
No, because they're having all the wrong sex. They may be having sex, but they're not having the right sex. They're not
yeah,
feeling connected. They're not feeling energetically filled up. Like
yeah,
it's a physical act, but it's not really filling their soul.
most
Like they're
definitely.
not really feeling so connected, like heart emojis in their eyes. That's different. That's not just sex. That's where just the love permeates your heart.
Yeah,
And when you feel that, man, the whole world just changes for you.
most definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lee. I appreciate
You're
you.
so welcome. I'm so happy to always come on here.